Hi, welcome back. I'm here with Bori again because as a researcher, she also did some vibe coding and now she will tell us a bit more about it. Bori, welcome back. Thank you again for your time. Last time we discussed how you use AI in your UX research, but I also heard that you recently done some vibe coding. Can you please tell us how did it come about?
End of last year, our company identified a big problem. It became a high priority topic. But end of the year, we were out of design capacity, of course. I mean, not of course, but they couldn't allocate design capacity for this topic. And then AI vibe coding was like a big hit around that time, mostly Figma Make. And then they wanted to encourage other roles like UX research, content design to use or try to use it. So my lead was like, maybe you could create something. When I mean something, I mean a concept. So I just want to clarify it here. Maybe I will repeat it a couple of times that I created a concept, not a design solution. So maybe I could come up with something and then we could test it as a concept. And then this year, a designer could take it over, and create the final design using our brand and everything. So this was how it came up. It's high priority, high pressure, And I was basically terrified when I got this task. But this is how I ended up using Figma Make for a little bit of vibe coding and creating an interactive prototype for user testing what I could conduct in the end. So yeah.
Exciting. And how did you feel about vibe coding in general?
In general, I thought it's really amazing, watching designers working with it. It looked really amazing. When I got this task, I was really intimidated by the fact I'm not a designer. I never did any design course. I'm ashamed to admit how my challenge looked like here at UX Studio when we needed to create a design as part of our onboarding. And I was kind of scared, so I postponed opening Figma Make for a really long time, meaning 3-4 days, because I also had a time frame. And then I started using it, and it was quite quick, quite enjoyable. And now I would say I feel, I wouldn't say comfortable, but if I need to do something with vibe coding, I feel okay. I'm not scared anymore to try new things.
And what was your process?
So when I got this topic or this task, I was like, oh my God, what should I do? And then I realized that I'm working with designers for almost 5 years now then. And actually, I know the process. So first, I had a discussion with the stakeholders of this topic. Why is it a high priority? What are the problems? What they want to know? And then I reviewed every previous research results because we had a lot actually. We also had recommendations what I could use. And then I did a small competitor analysis just to see what kind of opportunities we are missing right now from the page I was working on, what elements they use and so on. And then, because I'm a really analytic mind, I created a really detailed plan for what I'm going to do, what I want to include from the research. I could see from the recommendation the US research team already made, what I could see on the competitors' pages, what I want to include and how. So I had a really structured plan or frame for this page already. And then after a couple of days, I opened Figma Me. The full story is that it was on a Sunday because I was really postponing it and I was just curious how much work I need to do. At the company I'm working for, one of the designers created a golden prompt. So I used that to form my first prompt and I put it in Figma Make and my first draft was ready in 3 minutes. It worked pretty well, it looked pretty well, it was not ready. And then I closed my computer on a Sunday and I was like, okay, it seems like I can do it within a day or something. And then I created my first prototype. And then I collected every piece of my mind and all the courage I had, because I took this design to a design review session with designers. And I also shared it with content and so on. And they were kind of amazed how I followed the process. So it went really well. And in the end, I tested my own concept, which is kind of a new situation for me as well. And then I collected the learnings from the test sessions. So this year I handed over the concept and all the recommendations related to this concept to a designer who already started implementing it like section by section. So the hero section was already ready lately with the brand and everything in place, of course.
And what did you learn from this experience?
That vibe coding is easy, really quick, really fast. You can make iterations within minutes. I'm not a designer, so I was also lacking the lexical knowledge of a designer. But you could just have a conversation with Figma Make, basically, and it could understand you. And user testing with Figma Make, really interactive prototype where everything works, was more seamless, at least for me. Negative things I learned is that I needed to iterate a lot. As I said, I didn't have the lexical knowledge of a designer, so most probably if I could use those words, maybe it's quicker. I'm not sure. I haven't tried it. Another thing what was then a constraint, maybe changed since then, I'm not sure, is that testing on mobile phone was not really stable on iOS. It depends on the version of iOS you had. On Android, it's kind of stable. I didn't know this back then, so testing was like a little bit of a struggle in the end. And then another thing, what was a little bit of a struggle, that when I realized that I'm not sure I can test it on mobile, I wanted to export this prototype into Figma design files, which is, the page by page or like the frame by frame. It's not working really well still. I had a discussion with designers, so saving these designs into like frame by frame so you can connect them into a prototype is still not the best. So these were like the kind of the, I wouldn't say negative, but like kind of the hard learnings.
And did this experience change how you collaborate with designers or what you think about the collaboration with designers?
Yes, my appreciation grew a lot, especially during the review process. I needed to receive some feedback, and how they receive feedback, iterate based on feedback, how they process feedback is just really, really amazing, and they do it every week. Maybe on multiple designs they are creating, and wow. I can also understand why some of them don't like to join testing sessions and hear the critique there in live, and not just reading, like the reports we are creating. Now I can understand why. It's not easy to hear the critics, even if you kind of thought that maybe this is not going to be the best thing or like the best part. And the third part was that I think like collaborating is kind of easier in a way, because now I can create my own ideas, or like I can showcase my own ideas easier. Or if the team agrees that we should ideate or something, I can also join, like I know how to do it now. So I can also show my ideas easier.
And what happened to your concept?
After like testing it, we collected all the insights. I made my recommendations. Also, I prioritized these findings, what I would do as a first step if they don't have enough design capacity to do a full redesign. And I handed over to a designer. I already knew her. She appreciated the findings and also the concept I created. And she worked on the hero section first. It's already live. It looks amazing. And then they will move on with the redesign during the upcoming months. So section by section, I would say.
Oh, well done.
Thank you.
I would like to have one last question about the AI topic. In the previous video, we discussed how you used AI in UX research. Now we discussed the web coding experience. In your opinion, currently, where do you think the UX research position or industry is heading?
When I'm really pessimistic, I feel like UX research as a position or a role won't survive this AI wave or AI hype, which is kind of funny because our profession is not really old, I would say. It's kind of young. And thinking about the fact, what if it will die young? It's kind of sad. So when I'm less pessimistic, I think we are still needed, mostly for supervising AI. I can't see companies making decisions only based on AI output and AI judgment, and of course, like based on purely AI analysis. The sad thing is that there is a pattern right now that companies are not really hiring juniors, only mid-year seniors supervising AI, of course, based on the professional experience, knowledge, because that's needed for supervising something. And because there is this belief that AI can do the tasks of a junior. But with this, we are creating a really big gap right now because, yeah, in 30 years, we will sit there and supervising AI. But who is going to take over our positions then if we are not raising out like new UX researchers? So I think we need to be careful, and that's why it's really good that at UX Studio we have a junior colleague right now. On good days, when I have good days, I realize that AI is not that important. Let's put it this way. So I just close my computer and I finished my work and I just go out, spend time in nature with friends, and focusing on the really important things in life. I'm an auntie now. I'm a really proud auntie. So yeah, I spend time with my loved ones, create something. I really like DIYing. And then those days are good when I just realize that maybe it's not that important as we think.
Well, thank you so much, Bori, for all your answers. Now I would have some more fun questions to you, maybe about your UX Studio experience. What has been your favorite memory so far?
I have lots of good memories. My first ever retreat was a fun experience, like getting to know people a little bit more. It was a big party. It was the first retreat after the COVID period. So it was really a big party, I remember. But I think I'm really, really grateful for UX Studio, for lots of good people around me, lots of friends. Some of them still here, some of them not anymore. But that's the biggest thing I would highlight. Really good people around.
And what is your biggest pet peeve? It can be generic or UX research related.
Mm. Mm. There is a question, and like, why only 5 participants for you user testing? Now we have a presentation, and we can just share with the evidence why only 5 people, saying that I only have 2 more questions before, 1 minute before the meeting would end. Other than this, I think it's my biggest pet peeve is when someone is questioning my professional knowledge. But I also learned that most of the time these people's UX maturity is not really high. So I also need to go around and ask and just describe.
And again, an unhinged question that I prepared for you. Which superpower would you not want?
I think like flying,
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared of height. So
Me too, but I was thinking that maybe this way I wouldn't be as afraid of heights if I knew that I wouldn't be able.
so you can fly. So
Yeah.
if you fall, you can still fly.
Yeah, but
Well,
you still have the vertigo and other things, so that's a legit.
And sometimes I also think, because for a really long time I was like, I want to hear other people's thoughts or something, but then I realized that everybody has the right of their own thoughts and like the privacy of the thoughts. And after a while, I also thought that maybe I don't want to hear certain people's thoughts.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So maybe I don't want that.
Yeah.
Privacy. And also like, because I don't want to hear like certain people's thoughts, I guess. Yeah.
But thank you so much for your answers and also for taking the time for these 2 episodes. If you enjoyed it, please drop us a like, follow, and all that jazz. Thank you so much, Bori. Hope to see you again soon in another video. Bye.
Bye.